Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and today's one of those days that got away from me. Part of the reason it got away from me is because for the first time in a long time, I've been thinking about doing this, starting to do some of these shorts, and I finally did my first TikTok video today. And I put a link in the top of the description so you can see my TikTok address, and you can go there and follow me. I wanted to start doing some of those shorts, and then I'm working with ProCoinNews.com, who is the official sponsor of the Digital Asset Investor channel. The official sponsor of the Digital Asset Investor Hunting and Fishing Club. And I've worked out something where I'm going to do kind of a daily, like a newsletter, and I'll have some shorts in there and some things specific to my channel in there combined with their news, and it'll be totally free, so you'll love it. Anyway, so I'm trying to evolve a little bit, and trust me, when I got on TikTok, it made me feel even older. I was watching all these kids with their music and all the stuff going on, and so it's gonna be a slow pace for me here to get going. Okay, CoinPaprika.com, who is one of my sponsors. Everything's kind of flat, nothing too interesting, so I'm skipping over that. I wanted to remind everybody, Uphold.com, the link's in the top of the description. They're one of my sponsors. What I did recently, I went on to Uphold and I bought some Songbird tokens, and then I went and I wrapped them, and then I delegated them on the, what's the name of this app? I put it on my phone. I really studied this. It's called the Bifrost wallet, which is what everybody's using. So I went and did that. I had been meaning to do it, and I finally did it. All right, because the flare is supposed to be dropping here somewhere in October, is my understanding. All right, check it out. Crypto Bull. This guy puts out some bold tweets, and I love it. Looking at different XRP channels on the monthly chart, we find $7.20 as price target on top of the retracement channel and $250 on the top overextension channel. I don't know what any of this means, but I find it fascinating. I'll definitely take some profits around 6 to 7. My plan kind of has always been to take some profits around 10, but you know how that goes. Everybody might start getting nervous when it gets up around there. Look at his channel. Look, I guess he calls them channels. I'll take everything except this. I'll take all of these. Okay, moving along. This is so cool. Financial institutions can issue stable coins on XRPL with its issued currencies functionality. Issuers simply need to 1, set up an account, 2, choose a configuration option, learn how. So bottom line is you can go open a central bank, or whoever wants to issue a stable coin can literally log on, open an account, and so I'm going to issue a coin. Here's how many, and da-da-da-da-da. This is like a central banker's dream right here, folks. This is where the world's going, and look where else it's going. Introducing the first phase of bringing an Ethereum virtual machine sidechain to the XRP ledger. EVM developers, we invite you to experiment with the functionality of DevNet and enjoy the best of Ethereum and XRPL for DeFi applications. There's even a video to go with this. Check this out. This is exciting stuff. Game's about to change, folks.
Introducing the new XRP Ledger sidechain that we have developed from PureSys technology together with Ripple and compatible with EVM.
Oh, there's no copyright.
Join us to see what this means. Thanks to the operability of smart contracts, we can now unlock the full potential of DeFi in XRPL. A new world of possibilities is unlocked for XRP thanks to the sidechain with EVM. The EVM sidechain uses XRP as its native token. You don't need to use any other currency to access. Built with the powerful Tendermint protocol and carefully customized for XRP Ledger, it allows to achieve around 1,000 transactions per second using the Ethereum virtual machine. Easily move your XRP and assets between the XRP Ledger and the EVM sidechain thanks to the new bridge. It is very easily accessible, thanks to MetaMask and Exum Wallet, and allows fast and secure interoperability between both networks. Check all your transactions with the Explorer that we have created for the network, and have control of all your assets. Created by PeerSys in collaboration with Ripple. DevNet, available now.
All right. Looking excited. That's exciting stuff right there. It's so exciting that even CoinDesk decided they would cover Ripple. It's kind of a backhanded compliment. Ripple is testing a way for developers to deploy smart contracts made for the larger and more popular Ethereum. What they should have said is Ripple is testing a way for developers to deploy smart contracts which are made for the larger and more popular Ethereum because of Bill Hinman on its XRP Ledger blockchain with little effort. That's what they should have said, but they didn't. Next, Texas securities regulator launches investigation into FTX U.S. and CEO Sam Bankman-Fried. Folks, the powers that be, which would be the DC types, the SEC types, they seem to be protecting this FTX and CEO. And I saw somebody tweet out something about how this is the most conservative state in the country, and they're going after this guy. And I think it's BitBoy that's been talking about how these people are up to no good, and they seem to be protected. They got Tom Brady advertising for them. I had never even heard of them before Tom Brady advertised for them. And I've been in this for years. Then out of nowhere they come, which tells me, I've said before on this channel, it's red flag city. Somebody's behind them that is very powerful, as in Wall Street, is what I'm thinking. Now, you want a bombshell today? You've got a bombshell for today. Thinking crypto, this is the second bombshell he's done in the last couple of weeks. He's interviewing this J.W. Verrett. And remember, J.W. Verrett was on the, whatever, I can't remember what they call it, it's like an investment advisory panel at the SEC. He's the guy that took a parting shot at Gary Gensler when he was leaving. Well, folks, make no mistake, folks. What he says in this, he says we've heard. When he says that, just write it down, because my gut's going off, and my gut's always right, folks, or at least 99.999% of the time. My gut's telling me he already knows what's going on, and they already know that what he describes here has gone on with these people at the SEC. Watch this.
Let me tell you, the subpoenas are going to fly over to Gary Gensler, so he needs to be ready for that. And hopefully that will keep some of the excesses that we've seen at the SEC in check.
Yeah, interesting point you bring up, because I interviewed Congressman Tom Emmer multiple times, and he gave a kind of a famous line, I believe a month or two ago, where he said a new day is coming, and he was talking to the SEC enforcement director, and kind of alluding to potentially Republicans, winning the midterms, and then he said having the gavel, they will have the gavel in their hands to then keep regulators like Gary Gensler in check.
Yeah, and there's a few things they can do. One is oversight, subpoenas of emails and such. Unfortunately, what we've heard is that there are staff at the SEC that are using apps like Signal and WhatsApp, like we do, to try to keep our communications private. They're doing the same thing to keep them private from congressional oversight. Now, if they're doing that from a just government ethics and oversight perspective, it's illegal. So hopefully, in that context, and I feel a lot more comfortable with you and me using Signal and WhatsApp to maintain our privacy than I do someone in a government position who should be accountable to the public. But we might see that issue come up in oversight. Another thing that they can do on the Hill is to insert appropriations riders, and we've already seen Mr. McHenry float an appropriations rider to limit the SEC from adopting the new rule that attacks DeFi. It would require all DeFi, all DEXs to register essentially with the SEC.
Okay, you get the picture. So he is saying we've heard that people at the staff at the SEC is using apps like Signal and WhatsApp so that they can keep their conversations private. All right. Now, John Deaton weighs in. He copied some congressmen. He said, in addition to me, hopefully Jason Foster and Empower will send a Freedom of Information Act request asking about the Signal WhatsApp nonsense these regulators might be using. I hope Congress sends an inquiry about this unlawful conduct. Then he goes on. If the SEC Ethics Office doesn't put a stop to this, if it's true, then they are all complicit. Why wouldn't you email about government work? It's despicable if true. And if Gary Gensler and the SEC enforcement allow this practice, if true, then they are traitors to their oaths. John sounds pissed. Deaton pissed. I think that can be a thumbnail. Deaton pissed. How about that? If this is a reaction to Judge Torres ordering the Hinman emails to be produced, then it means two things. The emails are likely damaging to the SEC's case or image or both. They truly don't know who they work for, the American people. Then this was brought to my attention today. Factbox, big banks expected to rack up more than $1 billion in fines for WhatsApp use. This is under Gary Gensler's watch, folks. Banking giants such as JP Morgan Chase and Bank of America collectively face more than $1 billion in regulatory fines for employees' use of unapproved messaging tools, including email and apps like WhatsApp. The SEC began probing banks' record-keeping practices relating to the use of personal devices last year. And the CFTC is also scrutinizing. All right, so if this is the consequence, if $1 billion is the consequences for the banks, what are the consequences for the SEC? And the chairman who is supposed to be, and his enforcement and his ethics department that's supposed to be overseeing all this. What are their consequences, Congress? Because it falls on you. What are their consequences? At some point, the American people are going to have to see some consequences for the people who don't seem to ever have consequences. And then there's this from Wheezy. Gary Gensler was already known to be doing this while at the CFTC. He would even carry two phones. His excuse was that he was at home when communicating and didn't know how to access his work email from home, but he's the blockchain expert. A few years later, Gary Gensler, chairman of the CFTC, came under scrutiny for using his personal account to send some 11,000 business-related emails. And I believe he was also in some of the emails that were at you-know-who's personal server, which we won't talk about on this channel. Then J.W. Verrett goes on.
If I said this the last time I misspoke, we never talked about the Ripple lawsuit. We have talked about the SEC's approach to crypto. So we have talked about that, and we have very different perspectives on that. Contrast where we are now with where we were then. During the ICO era, 2017, I can understand how Clayton would look over the field of ICOs, right? Mm-hmm. And we have the benefit now of the projects that survived from that era, the legit projects that survived are great. And now are these great projects that have these whole communities around them, right? Sure. But those were the diamonds in the rough back then. And in 2017, there was a lot of rough. There was a lot of junk.
Yeah.
And so he kind of looked over the field and didn't know probably much about the diamonds that have emerged from that have gone ICO, like Ethereum. Mm-hmm. And so, I get that it was difficult. Along the way, the Hinman speeches that have become such a controversy in the Ripple litigation, let's set that issue aside. And it's legitimate to talk about it, but let's set that aside for a second. The ideas in there were somewhat helpful, or at least relative to the lack of guidance we get from Gensler. There's some of that stuff in there that was helpful. I mean, the SEC admitted in there and in the framework guidance, they admitted that decentralization can be an antidote to the Howey test. That's not something that Gensler will admit.
Yeah.
But that's something they admitted, and that's helpful. So no, I don't think the Ripple case was the right thing to do. It was a bad case, and they should lose, and I hope they lose. Just on basic principles of the Howey test, basic application of the Howey test. But it was better than what we have now. It always could get worse, and it has. And it's unfortunate, and hopefully with time we can.
I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. The J.W. Verrett is knocking it out of the park today. Thanks